Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex or Nuznuz here, and welcome to another video. Now, the Nodon Front for the Elder God Wars was just released earlier yesterday, and with it came RuneScape's newest boss, Kerapac. I spent a good bit of today killing both modes, as Kerapec is killable in normal mode and in hard mode, in solo, duo, or trio. Now the question is, what mode is the best loot? What is the difference in the modes, and which one is right for you? Well, today I'm going to go over my thoughts about how I felt about the boss, do a little breakdown of both modes and how they differ, and also a mini loot video where I compare the differences in loot from each mode. So make sure to leave a like if you enjoy this type of content and subscribe for more, and let's get into it. So on release day, I was up pretty early and I hopped straight into Kerapac on release, and I started off doing normal mode, and I actually managed to duo a normal mode kill in my first few attempts. Now basically normal mode has 3 phases and a small ending phase. Now they're pretty simple, and you're mostly looking to just deal as much damage as possible while avoiding things like the time threads that Kerapac puts out, and in normal mode you can really just get out of the way of them and avoid them without having to kill them. That's basically what I did, and you'll need to avoid things like Kerapec's jumping slam. But for normal mode, again, it was much easier to just DPS Kerapac down because he has just way less health, so you can skip a lot of the mechanics. When you're first starting out, you may need to, go and learn the mechanics more and take your time, but after a while you can just straight DPS to try to avoid as many mechanics as possible. And I ended up doing around 45 normal mode kills, and I actually really enjoyed it. So for me, it was almost comparable to a God Wars 2 boss, but with actual phases and actual mechanics. By no means is it super hard, but the loot is decent, and when you first start, it's gonna be a little bit tough, but after a while, it turns to a really solid boss. I would compare it to something probably like Nex, at least for me. Maybe a little tad bit easier than Nex once you get everything down, but pretty similar. So now in terms of loot, we will get into a comparison between the two modes later, but the major difference is you cannot get the Staff of Armadyl pieces in normal mode. So now we're going to move on to talking about hard mode. Now, hard mode took me quite a bit longer to get the hang of than normal mode, and I still have not managed to solo yet. I haven't really tried, but I know it's going to be pretty tough. I did, however, trio 45 kills with my 2 friends, and we actually ended up getting quite into a rhythm, and we were getting around 2-minute and 10-second kills as our best kills. Keep in mind, we all have pretty good gear. My friends have even better gear than me, so 2 minutes isn't going to be around what you get, especially when you're first starting out. But yeah, most of our kills were around 2.5 minutes, and when we first started learning, they were around 4 minutes, 5 minutes, because, you just pick up on stuff on every boss release. You'll pick up on more and more things, change your strategies, and that's why I just always love boss releases in RuneScape, especially doing them with friends, because you guys can kind of strategize and talk about different things, and I actually really like hard mode. Now, the big difference for hard mode is, of course, the health is increased a lot, but then we also have a 4th phase, an actual real 4th phase. Unlike the normal mode's 4th phase, where you just get a 75k HP in Rage Kerapac, hard mode is much different. Basically, Kerapac heals back up to 200k health, and he summons 3 echoes of himself, and you, the player, then have to kill all the echoes while trying to keep your clones of yourself alive. And you need to keep your defenses up as you're being dealt constant magic damage, which only increases as time goes on. This really reminded me a lot of Solok's Mind, where you go in and you have to use defensives to stay alive and get the clones to come onto you. It was also really reminiscent of Ambassador, where you have to use like devotion and defensives to avoid his mage onslaught while dealing damage and managing your thresholds. The time warp that is also used at Kerapac, which allows you to kind of rewind time, really comes into some cool uses during this, where you can, have full adrenaline, basically time warp, get off a bunch of thresholds, and then you can time warp back and get back your adrenaline. There's a lot of uses, especially in solos I've seen, and hard mode was really, really fun, and the loot was really good too. So if we look at the loot here, sadly I did not get any rare drops, and my team didn't get any rare drops, but if we look on the left side, we have the normal mode kills, 45 kills, and we made 38 mil. Now keep in mind the GE prices, like for the pages and stuff, aren't going to be absolutely correct in terms of the profit, but in terms of comparing them, it's all going to be relative. So if you look, 38 mil, I was getting around 1 minute 45 second to 2 minute kills on normal mode, and then when we go to hard mode, I made 55 mil, and I was getting around, we were getting trio around 2.5 minute kills usually, it's maybe 3 minutes, so a little bit longer than the normal mode. But in terms of the loot comparison, you can definitely tell that hard mode is better loot, and it also has a chance of dropping the Staff of Armadyl, but at the same time, normal mode loot, although these items are probably going to drop in price, it's honestly really good for a boss that, the average PVMer can do. When Raksha was released, a lot of people couldn't do it, so it's nice to see normal mode being done by people who aren't, crazy good at PVM, or who are wanting to learn and get better at PVM. There's something they can do, and they don't have to feel left out during a boss release. So I actually really like that. I like the option of either pushing yourself with hard mode or doing normal mode. So why should you do normal mode? Well, normal mode I would recommend for mid-level PVMers that are comfortable in the mid-level PVM range, like God Wars 2, maybe up to something like Nex, people that are in that range. And if you're wanting to learn more and, maybe do something a bit harder than God Wars 2 and venture into bosses with actual mechanics, then this is a great option for you. It's a more casual fight, which is a plus. It's also really good loot right now, so you should take advantage before things start to drop. I'm sure some of the normal drops will drop a little bit, but it seems like prices are okay, but it's only been a day. It's much easier to solo in normal mode than it is in hard mode for sure, so you can kind of take a bit more of a challenge trying to solo a boss without it being overly, super hard. That's what I really like, that people got the chance to do this update on day one, even if they weren't, super good at PVM, and, you didn't have to go into hard mode. You could do normal mode and, get a kill that way. And another thing is, normal mode would be good for getting KC faster and potentially getting thresholds for a pet. So normal mode is honestly an all-around great option. So why would you want to do hard mode? Well, of course, there's a chance that the Armadyl staff pieces, which go for like 1.5 billion each piece right now, which you're in for a big payday if you get one of these as a drop. You also have better normal loot. I think, judging by the wiki, it's about 30% or so more quantity of the normal loot, so of course that's a reason as well. It's just a more engaging fight. I mean, normal mode was nice, it's chill, it's a casual thing to do, I actually like it, but for an actual, super engaging boss fight that challenges me, I really like this boss fight. Of course, I may be talking differently once I start dying 1,000 times in solos, but in terms of teams, it was really fun. Just going with a team, it was just really engaging. It felt like when, we first did Solok, it wasn't as hard, but it did kind of give me that vibe, which was really, really fun. And yeah, hard mode is just an all-around good mode. I would say if you're duoing or trioing, it's on the level of Raksha. With a person, maybe a little bit harder. Solo hard mode, I've yet to do it, but it seems like it's pretty hard unless you're a you know, really good PVMer. So yeah, I think both modes are actually really good though, and I really love what Jagex did with this boss. I would have to say that Kerapac is a really good boss. I would say I feel about it about how I did with Raksha. I really enjoy it. I think solo for me is going to be harder than Raksha, but I'm excited to learn how to solo hard mode. And yeah, I just am really excited to check out all the other stuff. Make sure you guys subscribe down below, because I'm going to be putting out more videos on things regarding the first front of the Elder God Wars. And make sure to like the video. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.